May I come in?
आइए.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Manu. How are you?
Ma'am, I'm fine.
Are you comfortable?
Yes, ma'am.
You want water?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, Manu. Tell me something about yourself.
Ma'am, I'm Manu Garg from Jaipur, Rajasthan. I am only child born and brought up by my single parent, my mother. And I've done my schooling from St. Xavier's School. Then I've done my graduation from Hindu College, where I was also ranked second. Then I've done my master's from JNU Delhi. And currently, yesterday only, I've been enrolled in a PhD program in Center for South Asian Studies at JNU.
South Asian Studies. Okay. And this is your which attempt, Manu?
Ma'am, it's my second attempt, second mains and first interview.
Great. So you have been academically a bright person. And what about socially and spiritually?
Ma'am, socially also I've been involved in many initiatives and NGOs. For example, the Jatayu, which worked for the animal rights and providing them with radiant collars. I also have been part of All About Happiness, which dealt with spreading the message of happiness and inner contentment and how that we can overcome the stress of today's world.
Okay. Very nice. So you are from Rajasthan. Can you tell me the economic structure of Rajasthan? Like, where does the money come from, and where does the Rajasthan government's money go?
Ma'am, Rajasthan holds a GDP of 17 lakh crore rupees. It is mostly an agrarian economy, with about more than 30% of its GDP coming from agriculture. The rest is coming from industries and MSMEs. The per capita income of Rajasthan is around $1,400 annually. It also has a tourism potential where 108 million tourists visit Rajasthan annually. The expenditure of Rajasthan in today's time is mostly upon the infrastructure building and about raising the human capital development of the citizens of Rajasthan.
Okay. So there is always a phenomena seen in Rajasthan generally. One government goes, one party goes, another comes. So anti-incumbency is very strong. Can you suggest as a student of PSIR? Like, which thinker has talked about it? Is there any thinker who has talked about it, or any theory or thinker you can link it to?
Ma'am, I can relate it to the Kenneth Arrow's theorem of regional parties and how party system is based in Rajasthan. If I think, and I can also relate it to Duverger's law, where in the case of FPTP system, there are mostly emergence of two-party system in a state, and I can relate it to Rajasthan.
Very right. Rajasthan is also a sister, state of culture, diversity, and a lot of festivals. Can you name few festivals?
Ma'am, few festivals are Gangor, Teej that are celebrated in Rajasthan. Also, Makar Sankranti is celebrated with huge vigor in Rajasthan.
Okay. Why is Makar Sankranti celebrated?
Ma'am, it is the movement of sun which is from the southern hemisphere to the northern hemisphere, which is being celebrated in Rajasthan. Also, it is related to the agriculture season, that is the harvesting season in that place.
Okay. If I want to know three major current events that are going on in the country right now, which everyone should know about, what are those three?
The current events which I think should be highlighted are firstly the pollution condition of Delhi. That is a serious cause of concern. And secondly, the upcoming One Nation, One Election bill, which would significantly alter the electoral structure of Indian governance and polity. And thirdly, if I talk about it would be the status of women and the crimes against women that are rising in India. That should be an alarming situation for India.
Very right. There is also the situation at the borders. So our neighbors are also very much in turmoil, and as is the situation in Bangladesh. What happened in Bangladesh?
Ma'am, in Bangladesh, there was the ouster of the PM Sheikh Hasina's regime by protesters, and currently the head of the state is Muhammad Yunus, who is governing. And there is no announcement of elections to be announced in the upcoming future. And there are also attacks on Hindu minorities and other minorities, religious minorities. That is also a cause of concern.
Should Indian government keep Sheikh Hasina ji, provide protection, or what should be the course of action for India?
Ma'am, India as a Vishwamitra has always extended support to people who come to India to seek refuge. Same is the case with PM Sheikh Hasina. We are keeping her and providing her with political refuge. And there is a treaty that exists between India and Bangladesh regarding extradition. So Bangladeshi government is demanding the extradition of Mrs. Hasina. But there is also an exemption clause of if an extradition is based upon political motives, then India can deny it.
Okay, thank you.
Manu, if you were to suggest 3 main political reforms for this country, what would those be?
So firstly, I would like a stricter provision towards criminalization of politics. Currently, there are more than 43 to 45% criminals in our parliament, which have not proven records but accusations. So there should be a provision to prevent it.
How will you prevent it?
There should be fast track hearing of any such charges against politicians, because they would be the future policy makers or the current policy makers. So,
But is it practical to do that? Because we need fast track courts for crimes against women also. Do we have such kind of infrastructure?
yes, sir, there exists some fast track courts, but in case of politicians, the current investigation should be speeded up because the major policy and the direction of India would be decided by the politicians in the parliament. So if they have a grey record, then it might be problematic for India's future.
All right. What other 2 reforms you will suggest?
Sir, other 2 reforms would be one nation, one election, which would significantly improve India's expenditure that it does on the elections, and also the focus that is shifted on elections after every 3 or 4 months.
Give me an example. What constitutional amendments would be required for to materialize that one nation, one election?
So currently the 129th Amendment Bill is in Parliament in front of the Joint Parliamentary Committee, which is pondering upon the same issue. It is a big reform which also affects the federal structure of India. Therefore, it would have to be passed with a rigid majority of the under Article 368 of the Constitution.
All right. And third one?
So third one, I think, is the case of water crisis that exists all around India. As per Niti Aayog's report in the Composite Water Management Index, about 600 million people would be facing severe water shortages in the upcoming future, and also are currently facing. So this is a problem that needs to be tackled.
All right. Do you think United Nations has lost its relevance?
Sir, after the global poly crisis that affects the world, especially after 2022, there are global conflicts and disruptions in supply chains that hint towards the decline of the UN and it losing its relevance. There has also been issue of the expansion of the UN Security Council, but at the same time, I think that UN has proved out to be a instrument of utility when it comes to extending aid and assistance to countries with lower developmental indexes, and it has also helped many vulnerable sections and minorities to achieve their goals.
Does it also have to do with the nature of international law, which is sort of without sanction, like it's not mandatory kind of thing? Do you think that?
Yes, sir. In international law, there is no world government, firstly, to impose laws. Secondly, every country is sovereign in its own right. So it becomes very difficult for an international organization like UN to force upon its dictates or its imperatives on countries.
So as a student of politics, let's suppose you are consulted by a newly formed party in the state of Uttar Pradesh. So they obviously want to win the upcoming, say, legislative assembly election. So what would be your core strategy to win an election in today's Uttar Pradesh?
Sir, I would, as a political consultant, would tell them to focus upon the developmental politics and refrain from offering freebies or any such enticements. The politics of development on various parameters is a demand. The issue of employment and reduction of poverty would also help them to garner votes.
What would you advise regarding caste politics?
Sir, I would ask to not indulge in caste politics to an extent, as it is, according to me, not an ethical option.
Okay. So if they really want your consultation on that?
Sir, I would politely deny.
Okay. And since you have done your masters from GNU, especially in international relations, so don't you think foreign services would suit you like most? But you filled it on 10th. Why is it so, if I may ask?
Yes, sir. Sir, technically, I was not. There were no vacancies in the firm vacancy list released by UPSC and the DOPT for a person with disability, especially in my category visual impairment for IFS services. I filled all the seats where there were vacancies available, and the next entry in my preferences is Indian Foreign Services. So, if in case there is any restructuring, then I would be allotted Foreign Service as the priority.
All right. But just last question. Do you see Delhi has a peculiar situation when it comes to Article 239 AA? What is it? Just shortly answer.
Yes, sir. So, being a union territory, it is governed by the central government, but at the same time, there is an elected state legislative assembly, which has right to legislate over all the issues except
Who is at
public
fault?
order. So there is no one at fault, and what should be tried is to implement the Delhi NCT judgment of the Supreme Court to establish a harmonious construction and a triple chain of accountability between the two governments.
Oh dear, there is a one novel, Arms and the Man, written by whom?
Sir, I am not sure. I will have to read upon it.
No, sir, not aware. Then, see in the politics, South wing and this left wing, what exactly it means?
Sir, left wing and right wing are terminologies that are taken from the French Revolution of 1789. Left wing were considered to the people who want radical change in the society, whereas right wing were considered to be conservative people who are satisfied with the status quo and favored the monarchical regime. However, its connotation in the today's world has changed significantly.
In Muslim world, there is a one concept, Khilafat regime. What exactly it is?
Sir, it is a regime which is headed by a Muslim head known as Khalifa. It was previously in the Ottoman Empires, in the Ottoman Empire, and in India in 1919 there was also a Khilafat movement to support that regime after the end of World War I.
So presently, there is a conflict and fight for this movement. Who is, ahead in that? Saudi Arabia, Turkey, or Iran?
Sir, all these countries are competing. Saudi Arabia has an advantage of hosting the heritage sites of Makkah and Medina, whereas Turkey is trying to take its place and replace it by raising up Muslim issues, so-called Muslim issues, especially in the case of Kashmir and Palestine.
And what about Iran?
Sir, Iran, due to the global sanctions, is far behind in this race, according to me.
So, Manu, since your optional has been PSIR and your graduation and post-graduation is also in political science, and you have been, as you said, you have been admitted in the PhD program in the Center of South Asian Studies. Let me begin by asking you, can you first tell me how many countries are in South Asia?
Sir, there are 8 countries in South Asia.
Can you name them from north to south direction?
Sir, it would be difficult to name from north to south in the exact order, but I can name the countries, list down the countries.
Okay, go ahead.
Sir, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka.
Okay. Have we or is there any kind of organization present which is responsible for bringing South Asia and Southeast Asia together?
Yes, a BIMSTEC is an organization that acts as a bridge between South Asia and Southeast Asia.
And what exactly would be the objective of this organization?
So there are multiple objectives and of BIMSTEC. It is related to food security, the net security, and information sharing and military assistance also.
How would the objectives of BIMSTEC differ from the objectives of SAARC?
So mostly the objectives are same, but SARC has become a victim to the Pakistani obstructionism. So that's why in the near future, focusing on the BIMSTEC would be a better priority for India.
So primarily you say that there are no differences between the objectives of two organizations. Okay. Recently, China has announced construction of a mega dam. Can you tell me the river on which this mega dam is going to be constructed?
Sir, it is on Yarlang Sampo, known as Banputra in India.
One of the criticisms of this dam is that it is being considered as a water bomb. What does that mean?
Sir, there are arguments that it can be weaponized as a water bomb, where the waters of Brahmaputra can be stopped and released without any notice to India. So it can lead to floods in our northeast region. Also, there can be threats to water security of the population of India in the northeast, where they would not receive adequate water due to India being a low riparian state.
Do you agree with this statement that the majority of the water that Brahmaputra gets is coming from Arunachal Pradesh rather than Tibet? Do you agree with this statement? I repeat the statement. The majority of the water that Brahmaputra river gets is coming from the glaciers present in Arunachal Pradesh rather than Tibet.
Sir, I will have to read upon it. I am not sure.
Okay. In your prizes, you have mentioned that you have published a journal on water crisis in Jaipur. What are the major water crises in Jaipur?
So the water crises in Jaipur are at multiple levels. The first level is the water paradox that exists. On one hand, rich people use water to wash their cars, and there is a virtual water wastage. On the same hand, on the other side, there are poor people who are not able to get access to affordable, potable, clean drinking water. Sir, secondly, there is a declining groundwater level table in Jaipur, especially, as 40% of its aquifers have been exhausted. Sir, thirdly, there is a lack of blue-green infrastructures, which is hindering the replenishment of the groundwater.
One last question. Amongst all these water crises that you listed, is there any water crisis which is exclusively only for Jaipur and not for any other North Indian states?
So different urban cities on their course of industrialization face similar water crisis. But the drying up of rivers, which I would say, especially the Dravyavati river and its rejuvenation, is a case of Jaipur.
Okay.
Okay, Manu. You have done very great in political science. Except political science, along with political science, what are the other areas where you have interest in other subjects along with this?
Sir, if I could count international relations as a separate domain, then I would mention it.
Political science and international relation along with that.
Sir, I think it would be sociology.
It should be?
Sociology.
Sociology. You like sociology. Okay, what is the principle of social justice?
So the principle of social justice accounts for inclusion and development of providing a basic form of equality to all the sections that are in the society.
What is equality and what is equity?
Yes, sir. So equality would refer to treating all the people on an equal footing without any kind of discrimination. Whereas equity would entail having special provisions and positive discrimination for the people who are much vulnerable in a society.
Very good. There are two terms. First one is person with disability. And the second term is that person with special abilities. What is the difference?
Sir, there is not much difference, but it is a difference in the perception how these two terms are perceived. Person with benchmark disability or person with disability is more of a legal term, which is mentioned in the RPWD Act 2016. Whereas person with special ability is a nicer way of referring to disability and not considering it as a hindrance in one's life.
We have seen, as you said that, we have seen a lot of stigma still attached with persons with abilities, this special abilities. So suppose you are a commissioner in some area What kind of initiative you will take to reduce all these things?
So, sir, firstly, I would focus on the physical infrastructure. As per government reports, there are 30% government buildings, the public sector buildings, which are not accessible to the person with disabilities. Sir, secondly, I would run sensitization workshops for the people with non-disabilities so that they can be better acquainted with the issues that are faced by PWD people. Sir, thirdly, I would also focus on the digital infrastructure. I believe that technology is a great leveler in bringing the and reducing the disparities that exist between person with or without disabilities.
Give me some examples, like what kind of technology which can help person with special abilities.
Yes, sir. So the current rise of artificial intelligence and OCR, augmented reality, has enabled people with visual impairment to read out even handwritten notes. So that makes them at par with the other population, and they do not have to depend upon braille resources, which are of a very less quantity available.
Their government has initiated one scheme for increasing this physical infrastructure availability for persons with special abilities. What is that scheme?
Sugama Bharat Abhiyan, Accessible India Campaign.
Accessible India campaign. And what is that? Is it a central sector scheme, or this is a central core scheme like that?
Sir, I'm not sure about the technical aspect, but I know about the broad contours.
What is the broad contours about that?
The scheme aims to having tactile plates and light strips built on infrastructure of public places, and to make schools, colleges, hospitals accessible to the people. There is also provision of accessibility auditing, where independent auditors would be appointed to check whether these services are accessible.
Very good. My some questions, last questions. What is this Chandrayaan-4 mission?
Yes. Sir, via the Chandrayaan-4 mission, we are targeting to take back some minerals and rocks and stones from the surface of the moon back to Earth.
And how we are going to do that?
Sir, I'm not sure.
Okay, my last question. What is defense diplomacy?
Yes, sir. Sir, defense diplomacy is having pacts and sharing our military capabilities with other countries. For example, we have signed LEMOA COMCASA with America. So it provides scope for diplomacy, and military exercises are also part of it.
Okay, thank you, Manu. Ma'am, please.
Manu, you listen to podcasts.
Yes.
Can you suggest me 5 podcasts that I should listen?
Ma'am, first would be Teen Tal. It is a comical take upon the societal issues that are around.
Okay, Teen Tar. It's available on?
It's available on all the platforms, Spotify,
Okay.
YouTube, or any other platform. Second would be Too Past, Too Curious. It is two comics, stand-up comics, who are sitting and discussing about the historical events from a different point of view, especially from a comical point of view.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. And third would be Joe Rogan podcast. He discusses about American politics, and recently President-elect Donald Trump also visited his show. Yes, ma'am. I can remember of these three.
These 3. Any Hindi podcast?
Ma'am, Teen Tal is a Hindi podcast.
Acha, it's a Hindi podcast. Okay. Apart from podcast, you also listen to audiobooks. Okay. So when you listen to audiobooks, do you also register the notes in your brain, in your mind? Which was the last one did you read or listen?
Ma'am, recently I was reading about a book named A Checkered Brilliance, which was on the life of V. Krishna Menon, who was the Defense Minister of India during India-China War in 1962.
Can you tell me what were the takeaways you took from that book?
Ma'am, the book gave me insights about the geopolitics that existed during that period, the life of V. Krishna Menon, who was part of India House, then how our former Honorable Prime Minister Nehru appointed him as a defense minister, and why he had to resign at that point of time.
Okay. There is a concern that recently the reservation has become a matter of debate. And with subcategorization in SCST, should we also think about having the subcategorization in even other reservation categories, like maybe even PWD category, whereby women, SC, STs, transgenders, all should be given equal opportunity?
Ma'am, as a student of political science, I'm of opinion that there is intersectionality that exists. So if there is a subcategorization based upon proper data, then it can prove out to be fruitful. For example, in the PWD community, it is divided into 5 subgroups, and it has proved out to be beneficial in elevating different needs, as every person has different requirements and different challenges.
Should mental disability also be considered?
Yes, ma'am, it should be considered, and it is being considered in the Rights of Person with Disability Act 2016.
It's been considered? Okay, great. Thank you so much, Manu. Your interview is over. We'll call you.
Thank you.
मनु कैसे हैं आप?
I'm बढ़िया.
बढ़िया.
Yes.
कैसा लगा आपको इंटरव्यू देके? घबराए तो नहीं?
नहीं मैम, कॉन्फिडेंस था, घबराया.
Confidence था? बहुत आपने अच्छा इंटरव्यू दिया है.
Thank you, ma'am.
You are an excellent candidate. है ना? We rarely use the word excellent. है ना? Your knowledge, your content, your delivery, your articulation, mental alertness, conciseness, everything was very good. Your overall command over your subject, very nicely put. There are few things. वैसे ऐसा कुछ बहुत ज़्यादा बताने को है नहीं, but there is one thing. Can you sit a little more boldly? Sit. Put your hands on your lap. Yes. Open your legs a little. Yes. Front. Yes. Sit a little more. Put your shoulders back. Yes. This is a better posture. It gives you a more commanding appearance. Second, apart from all this, once or twice it felt as if you were wanting for words. Is it so?
Yes, ma'am.
So it's okay. Even if 1 or 2 words go here and there, no problem. Right? You are doing really well. Do you want to ask anything?
Ma'am, it was mostly regarding the body language. I've been advised about it many times, so I was confused whether I should keep my hands clasped or
No.
over the
Keep
lap.
it like this.
Okay.
More boldly you sit, the better. Because your content is strong. Everything else in your profile, background, your conversation, your communication, all of it is very good. You can increase a little bit pitch of your voice. That will enhance, or that would give appearance of more confidence. And that is good. And apart from that, everything is so good. No problem.
Maintain this form.
When is your interview?
27th of January.
Now don't get into too much of taking too much advices. There is a old saying that too many hands spoil the spoon, spoil the broth. So basically, you are already into a good form. You are already doing good. You will get selected if you continue with this. If you have done adequate or decent mains, you'll get selected. But just don't destroy this form by changing anything which is not required to be changed. And a little more smile. Can you smile? Show. हाँ, smile. कहाँ कर रहे हो? स्माइल तो करो.
वो वैसी थोड़ी पर्सनालिटी है आपकी, थोड़ी इंट्रोवर्ट टाइप की.
No, but you can smile. Smile a little here and there.
You're
a cheerful person.
You're a very excellent guy.
Right.
Very excellent.
Cheerful.
और कॉन्फिडेंट भी हो, मतलब आवाज भी थोड़ी सी, मैम ने जैसे बोला पिच थोड़ा सा बढ़ा लो, और पोस्चर थोड़ा सा आगे वाला जो था थोड़ा सा बैक में, मतलब ऐसे जो ये एकदम फिक्स है, बढ़िया है एकदम.
और थोड़ा सा और खुल के बैठोगे तो और अच्छे लगोगे.
दबे नहीं. यू नो मैनी थिंग्स, सो मैनी थिंग्स यू नो. और हम लोग सब लोग
यूनानिमस है सबका ओपिनियन दैट यू आर एन एक्सीलेंट कैंडिडेट. बट इफ यू विल स्माइल,
yes ma'am,
you will increase your marks by 10-15 marks. And then 15 marks are important, right? It changes the service, it changes the selection sometimes. So smile. You should appear light. A person who can smile under stress, challenge, and crisis is of the finest character, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
This is a stressful situation, yes. Everybody knows that. You have been through challenges. You are in a challenging situation. Yes, of course. But if you smile here and there, then it will enhance your personality.
और आप अभी जयपुर से हैं, तो आप अभी यही दिल्ली में रह रहे हैं कि अभी मतलब वो अप डाउन कर रहे हो या कुछ?
नहीं, दिल्ली में रह रहा हूँ.
हाँ, बहुत बढ़िया. सेहत का ध्यान रखना, सर्दी वर्दी ना लगने पाए इंटरव्यू के आसपास, वो फिर मतलब चीजें थोड़ी वैसी हो जाती हैं. बिकॉज विंटर है, थोड़ा सा उसका ख्याल रखना.
बहुत अच्छे से, बहुत अच्छा. You are very good candidate. Just relax, brush a few things. That would do the trick.
एक चीज थी, अभी जैसे आप लैप पे हाथ रख के बैठे हैं, फिंगर्स को आप थोड़ा सा फोल्ड कर रहे हैं, ये कॉन्शियसली है या
आप डर की वजह से या कुछ
हाँ,
नर्वसनेस?
थोड़ा stress.
ये थोड़ा सा अगर इस पे बाकी कोई दिक्कत नहीं.
कॉन्फिडेंट लगो बस.
रिलैक्स, नेचुरल. जैसे घर पे बैठते हो, घर पे ऐसे थोड़ा ना बैठते होंगे. मतलब घर पे, अब खैर घर पे तो हम सोफे पे बैठ जाते हैं, लेकिन अगर कुर्सी पे बैठोगे और एकदम कॉन्फिडेंटली बैठोगे, एज अ ऑफिसर बैठोगे तो कैसे बैठोगे?
You know why we are trying? Because we just want, you know, to fetch maximum marks from there.
So it is also important that every member of the panel should feel connected to you. It's not that you're talking to only one person. I mean, so with a little more smile, we all will feel connected to you. That's the only thing, right?
ठीक है, done.
All the best.
Thank you.
Okay.
You want to
Thank
ask
you.
anything else?
No, ma'am. That's all.
It's all covered. Okay, thank you. God bless you.
Thank you.